You're listening to Life Inspirations. Underneath the noise. You know, I've always been a sports fan. In my younger years, I would play sports and my competitive edge would come out. But these days, I'm more of an armchair critic, I suppose. But I just love when people get to the top of their game in whatever discipline or sport they're doing, and they compete with the best in the world, like the Olympics, or perhaps the All Blacks, or the Black Caps, and all sorts of other sports, motorsports, IndyCar, golf. But someone said that every game is composed of two parts, an outer game and an inner game. The outer game is played against an external opponent to overcome external obstacles and to reach an external goal. So there is great skill involved in the outer game, learning to use a bat or a racket or handle a rugby ball. So the outer game is what people see, what gets admired or disdained even or ignored. And many of us can get quite passionate, experiencing great highs when we do well or great lows when we fail. But there is another more important game going on in the mind of the player, under the noise of the outer world. It's the unseen inner world of a person, the heart of a person, the mind, and it's played against nervousness or doubt, self-condemnation, lack of confidence. And this inner world is viewed by those at the top of their games as even more important than fitness and skills training and the necessary diet regimes that players need to go through, important as those things are. For example, the All Blacks, New Zealand's national rugby team, have a mental skills coach who plays a crucial role in the performance of the players. And he focuses on developing players' mental resilience and leadership skills, helping them perform under pressure. And this skills coach has been with the team for over 2 decades and has been instrumental in their success. And this man, Gilbert Anoka, said this: "We can learn not to fear pressure. The goal of the mental game is to keep our emotions level." And you could argue that some teams or individuals have almost already won the game before they go onto the field of competition because of getting their inner world tuned correctly. So there is this outer world that people see. Then there is this inner world, under the noise, if you like, that people don't see. And Paul made this distinction. He was writing to the church in Corinth while he was rotting away in prison. His enemies were gloating. Paul's outer game didn't seem to be going well, but he wrote that he was a jar of clay that carried great treasure within. He wrote in 2 Corinthians 4:16, "So we're not giving up. How could we? Even though on the outside it often looks like things are falling apart on us. On the inside, where God is making new life, not a day goes by without his unfolding grace." In another version it says, "Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." So Paul agrees that there is an outer you, your skin, your hair, face, body, reputation, and persona. But there is also an inner you, your character, your spirit, your soul. Because the outer world is what everyone sees, it gets dressed up, applauded, whistled at, and ignored. The inner you is invisible. The outer you can be coerced by other people or forces. The inner you is always free to choose. The exterior can be measured and weighed and chemically analysed. The inner you has a unity and mystery that is staggering. The outer you is temporary. The inner you is eternal. So this exterior of us is wasting away. Sooner or later, John Ortberg says, old man wrinkle is coming for everybody. Have a look at people around you, or have a look in the mirror. From the age of about 25, certain changes to the outer you start to kick in. Bones begin to lose calcium and get brittle. Skin begins to lose elasticity and shrivel. Age spots begin to multiply. You look down at your hands one day and realize you're looking at your parents' hands. You start losing brain cells at an alarming rate. If you're over 30, you lose thousands of brain cells every day. If you're very, very quiet, you can hear some of them dying right now. Weight starts shifting from the poles of your body toward the equator. Hair will stop growing where you want it to and boldly go to places no hair has gone before. Some of us now get nose trimmers for Christmas. If you're under 25, you're probably saying to yourself, nah, that won't happen to me. Oh, yes, it will. We can't escape it. You can fight old man wrinkle all you want. You can lavish time and money on the outer you, exercise it, starve it, Botox it, Rogaine it, stretch it, lift it, nip it, tuck it, tan it, dress it up. But alas, old man wrinkle will wait you out. So who are you really? We can be tempted to place all our focus on the outer person. But one day all that will pass away. You, however, are a being who will never cease to exist. Your spirit, your inward character and person is in the process of becoming something. And what it becomes is up to you now. You see, that something is the main thing that God sees when he looks at us. That's what matters most to him. In the Old Testament it says this, the Lord does not look at the things that man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. In the New Testament, Paul says his body is headed south in a hurry. One of the criticisms that he lived with was people saying he was not a very impressive person when he was there in person. And his outer person wasn't just aging, his body had been whipped and stoned and starved and beaten, locked up to rot in a cell. But he stated emphatically that something's going on inside of me. It's like the opposite of what's happening outside. He says, outside I'm dying a little every day. Inside I'm coming to life. Inside I'm growing, changing. I'm getting stronger. Joy keeps bubbling up, even in person. Paul had mastered the inner game. His thoughts and desires ran constantly Godward, and he found himself as an old man in prison, more alive than he'd ever been. And so we're aging, and the hardest thing to bear as we do that is the feeling that we remain young inside. And to be honest, I do. I'm aging on the outer, but on the inside I feel very young. Sure, there's aches and pains and things, and the mirror doesn't really flatter me very much these days. But that's not what counts. You see, we will live and die in this thing called time, but we are destined for eternity. So if we want to use the language of sport or the game, there is an inner game and an outer game. Which one are you looking after? Which one are you seeking to master? Which one gets the most attention? So there is lots of advice all over the place on how to extend your life. There's certain foods to eat and other types of food to avoid. And experts tell us that if you were to exercise regularly, you'll add 2 years to your life. But the bad news is that you will spend those 2 years exercising. Winston Churchill lived into his 90s and said the only exercise he ever got was serving as a pallbearer for his friends who died while they were exercising. And so a great thing to do is to be full of gratitude for the outer you. God made it. Come to peace with your body. Rejoice in its strengths. Accept it. But remember, it's wasting away. The inner you, on the other hand, is capable of a glory that right now you can't even imagine. Paul says this, dear friends, now we are children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known. But we know that when he appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. The what we will be is the inner you, the inner game. Make your biggest investment in the you that will last. We have scales and mirrors and cameras and tape measures to track the development of our outer selves, but how can we track the well-being of the part of us that will last? Well, live in such a way that you prepare yourself for eternity. Some years ago, I took a funeral for an 18-year-old young woman who was awaiting a heart-lung transplant, but passed away. sadly, before this could happen. They looked on her computer and this is what she had written. All of life is preparation for eternity. So I would encourage you to spend as much time caring for the inner you as you spend on the outer you. And I would encourage you to follow the footsteps of Jesus. Pay attention to the rhythms through which you become more loving and alive and resilient. Paul asked his fellow believers in Rome, "Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble or hardship or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword?" Well, trouble and the hard stuff can win the outer game pretty easily, but there is a you in you that no one can touch. It's underneath the noise of life. That's the one to pay attention to. Which game will you play? God bless you.